A Fishy Business by Sue Graves. Chapter 1. The Birthday Present. It was Jack's birthday. At long last he was 11 years old. He felt very grown up. He was excited because Uncle Ted, Mum's brother, was coming. He was bringing Jack a birthday present. Jack and his younger sister Mary were watching for his car from the window. "What do you think your present will be?" asked Mary. "I don't know," said Jack. His eyes shone with excitement. "But Uncle Ted always gives really exciting presents." Just then, a car drew up outside the house. It was Uncle Ted. Jack and Mary ran to open the door. "Happy birthday, Jack," said Uncle Ted. He gave Jack a long, thin parcel. The parcel was wrapped up in bright blue paper. "Thank you, Uncle Ted," said Jack. He pulled the paper off the parcel excitedly. His eyes widened. Inside was a brand new, shiny fishing rod. "Wow! A fishing rod!" exclaimed Jack. "It's just what I've always wanted." "Now you can be an angler like me," Uncle Ted said, laughing happily. Uncle Ted was a very good angler. He loved to fish in nearby streams and rivers. Sometimes he fished early in the morning. Sometimes he fished late at night. Mum said Uncle Ted would fish all the time if he could. Jack turned the fishing rod round and round in his hands. It felt smooth and cold. He spun the reel round. It spun very smoothly. "It's the best fishing rod in the world, Uncle Ted," he said. "Will you teach me to fish?" "Of course I will," said Uncle Ted. Mary felt sad. She pushed her brown curly hair behind her ears. She sighed a big sigh. "What's the matter, Mary?" asked her mother. "I wish I could learn to fish as well," she sighed, "but I don't have a rod." "I know it's not your birthday, Mary," said Uncle Ted, "but I have a surprise for you too." He went out to the car and returned a few minutes later. He was carrying another large parcel. Mary opened the parcel. Inside it was a large net. "What is this for?" she asked. "It's a landing net," explained Uncle Ted. "If I'm going to teach Jack how to fish, I'll need your help. I'll need your help to net any fish that Jack catches. It's a very important job." Mary was delighted. "Thank you, Uncle Ted. Thank you very much. I will be the best helper in the world." Uncle Ted and Mum laughed. "What sort of fish will we catch?" asked Jack. "Well," said Uncle Ted, "I usually fish for trout. Do you know what trout look like?" Jack and Mary shook their heads. Mum got a book from the shelf. She gave it to Uncle Ted. "There are pictures of trout in here," she said. Uncle Ted flicked through the pages. "Aha! Here we are," he said. He showed them some pictures of trout. "There are brown trout and rainbow trout," he said. "I'd like to catch a rainbow trout," said Mary. She looked closely at the pictures. "They are very pretty, but they don't look like rainbows to me. A rainbow has 7 colours. A rainbow trout only has blue, green and pink stripes." Jack laughed. Well, it still looks a little like a rainbow, doesn't it? Yes, I suppose so, agreed Mary. Brown trout are native to our streams and rivers. They are born and bred there, said Uncle Ted. But rainbow trout are not native to this country. They first came from America. I think they are very pretty fish too. I wish we could go fishing right now, said Jack. He flexed the rod. It made a lovely swishing sound. Yes, can we go fishing now, Uncle Ted? asked Mary. She jumped up and down excitedly. Not right now, said Uncle Ted. It's nearly time for you two to go to bed. When can we go? asked Jack. Please say you'll take us very soon. Well, said Uncle Ted, tomorrow is Saturday, so you don't have school. Also, tomorrow is the 1st of May. The 1st of May is a very important day for anglers. Why? asked Jack and Mary together. The 1st of May is the start of the trout season. Wow, said Jack. Fantastic, said Mary. Uncle Ted laughed. So if your mother says it's all right, I'll take you fishing for trout tomorrow. Mum nodded her head and smiled. I think that sounds like a lovely plan, she said. Hooray! Hooray! shouted Jack and Mary. We're going fishing tomorrow! Uncle Ted looked at his watch. I must be going. Auntie Molly will be wondering where I am. I'll see you two tomorrow morning. Make sure you're up bright and early. I'll pick you up at 6 o'clock sharp. We'll be ready, Uncle Ted, said Jack. Mum smiled. Well, if Uncle Ted's picking you two up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you had better get to bed. It's getting late. You have a busy day tomorrow. Jack and Mary ran off to bed. For once, they didn't want to stay up late. They wanted to be ready for the next day. They were going fishing with Uncle Ted. Chapter 2. The Fishing Lesson. The next day, Uncle Ted arrived bright and early to take Jack and Mary fishing. Their mother had made a picnic for them. There were sandwiches, pieces of cake and flasks of hot coffee. She had put everything into a big picnic basket. Uncle Ted packed the picnic basket into the car. Soon they were driving to the countryside. After a while, Uncle Ted parked the car next to a gate. The gate opened onto a field. The stream is at the bottom of the field, he explained. We'll have to carry everything we need down to the stream. Jack and Mary carried the picnic basket. Uncle Ted carried the rods and the landing net. He also carried a small box. What's in the box, Uncle Ted? asked Jack. You'll have to wait and see, said Uncle Ted. The stream looked beautiful. Sunlight sparkled on the clear water. Waterweed of every kind waved gently in the water. Ducks quacked noisily as they dipped into the water looking for food. A kingfisher flew quickly above the stream. Its bright feathers flashed in the sunlight as it dived into the water for fish. Mary pointed to the far side of the stream. What's that bird over there? She asked. Uncle Ted looked over to where she was pointing. It's a coot, he said. He handed her some binoculars. Look through these binoculars and you will see it more clearly. Mary looked through the binoculars. The bird was black, with a flash of white on its head. It's lovely, she said. I don't think I've seen a coot before. Jack began to feel impatient. Can we set up the rods now? I want to use my new rod. Uncle Ted showed them how to set up the rods. Then he picked up the small box. This is very important, he said as he opened it. I keep bait in here. We use bait to catch fish. The bait looked like a fly. It was made from a hook with bits of feather and silk on it. It looks just like a little insect, said Mary. I think it's time we started fishing, said Uncle Ted. Jack chose some bait and fixed it to his line. Uncle Ted showed Jack how to cast his line into the water. It was very hard to do. First of all, Jack caught the hook on some waterweed. Next, he caught it on Uncle Ted's trousers. Uncle Ted and Mary laughed and laughed. But soon Jack cast his line well, and the bait was floating upstream. Uncle Ted showed him how to twitch the line. If you twitch the line, it looks as if the bait is moving about on the water. Then a trout might see it and take it, said Uncle Ted. While Jack waited for a fish to take the bait, Uncle Ted showed Mary how to use the landing net. You must hold the net like this, he said. Then if Jack catches a fish, we can put it into your net. Mary practiced and practiced. I like using the landing net, she said. It's good fun. Jack and Uncle Ted fished for a long time, but neither of them caught a single fish. The fish aren't biting today, sighed Uncle Ted. Let's stop for some lunch. While they were eating lunch, Mary asked Uncle Ted about the fish she had caught in the past. Have you ever caught a really big fish, Uncle Ted? Uncle Ted laughed. Anglers often say they have caught bigger fish than they really have, he said. But I'm pleased to say that I have caught some big fish in my time. He pointed upstream. There's a big rainbow trout upstream. It's a beautiful fish. All the anglers call it the Admiral. It has lived in the stream for a long time. It has grown and grown. Now it's enormous. All the anglers would love to catch it. Wow, said Jack. Have you seen it? Uncle Ted laughed. I nearly caught it once, he said. I'd been fishing for hours when suddenly I felt a big tug on the rod. It had taken my line. But the Admiral is such a cunning fish. It swam really fast upstream. I had to run fast along the bank to keep up with it. It kept swimming into the waterweed to try and break my line. You could tell it had made up its mind that it was not going to be caught. What happened to the Admiral? Asked Mary. It got away. I'm going to catch the Admiral, said Jack. Well, not today, laughed Uncle Ted. It's time we went home. Will you bring us again tomorrow? Asked Mary. Please say you will. Jack might catch the Admiral tomorrow. All right, said Uncle Ted, but now we must pack everything away. Jack and Mary started to pack everything away. Suddenly, there was a noise from the far bank. The ducks on the stream quacked loudly as they swam away from the sound. What was that? Asked Jack. Mary picked up the binoculars and looked over to the far bank. There's something moving over there, she said. I think I saw someone behind the trees. I think someone is watching us.